righty, joining us now, Fox Business senior correspondent Charlie Gasparino, and we welcome back Dan Clifton, head of policy research at Strategas. Welcome, gentlemen. Charlie, start with you because they finally signed the executive order on debanking. We talked a lot about this a couple of nights ago. J.P. Morgan told Donald Trump in 2021, you have 20 days to get your accounts out of here.
Jamie told him, too.
Which I think is extraordinary. The whole thing's extraordinary. But you had a second story about the Trump Organization.
A couple things we can report exclusively. Number one, we should point out the Trump Organization was debanked by 12 banks. Now, we're hearing about J.P. Morgan, Bank of America. We knew about Capital One, which wouldn't bank the Trump Organization. But from what I understand, as many as a dozen banks said no.
And all political reasons.
All political. So here's what happened, and here's the story that I broke for the Post. It's pretty simple. The Biden administration's regulators imposed a rule that could be used very politically. It's called reputational risk.
Right.
And they basically canceled out all sorts of businesses that the Biden administration didn't like. What were those businesses? Crypto was big on that list. As you know, crypto players had a hard time getting banking services. And that's why a lot of crypto people voted for Trump. Guns, anything that was kind of right-wing-ish. And
oil and gas.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Christian religion.
Small Christian religions. And if your name was Trump. And he became sort of persona non grata, a hot potato, it was described to me by someone inside Bank of America, where they couldn't touch the account, because if they did, they would have been harassed by the Biden administration, OCC regulators, even the Fed. And, listen, here's the thing. Why? Well, January 6th was the nominal reason. Yeah. But let's be real clear here. January 6th was one bad day.
When?
And Trump said, go peacefully. Remember that?
Oh,
Why weren't all these host of Democratic leaders debanked when they were egging on the social justice protests?
This is part of the...
It's horrible.
The Biden jihad against Trump, and went into 22 when they had Jack Smith, who came in late 21, and, of course, Mar-a-Lago and all the nonsense that proved to be added nonsense. And, by the way, they may... get their comeuppance, too. Yeah. Dan Clifton, I don't know. I haven't seen the EO. I'm hoping that this executive order is very good and comprehensive. You know much about it?
I do. To Charlie's point, and excellent reporting on this, Charlie, it's very focused on reputational risk, but it's making clear that you are not going to be able to discriminate. I think the religious one is the most important of them all. So they started with Trump, they went into political beliefs, and then they got into religion. You're down a real slippery slope at that point, and he's pulling it back. He directs the Small Business Administration.
I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
He directs the Small Business Administration to restore the accounts that were lost. So they go back and say, hey, if you were debanked, we want you to be able to be banked again and try and get the system back to where it was previously.
These banks, though, I want to weigh in.
You were in banking.
Once upon a time, I was on Wall Street. That was 30 years ago. But I want to say these banks are not blameless. I'm talking to the same people you're talking to at both of those big banks. Yeah. Okay. They bent their knee. They didn't have to, but they bent their knee. Now, I know what you're going to tell me. Oh, the regulators and the supervisors.
Well, they do harass.
We would have had fines. I understand that, but they could have gone down fighting if they wanted to, and they didn't.
Right.
So I'm not letting them off the hook.
I think you're right about that.
Jamie Dimon's a fine person personally. Right. So is Brian Moynihan. But those two operations have to share some of the blame for this political malfeasance.
I agree with you. Jamie Dimon, who isn't afraid of speaking up usually.
That's right.
Should have said to Joe Biden.
That's right.
No way.
In public.
And because remember one thing, we have laws on the books, and Dan knows this, that, prevent you from dealing with drug dealers and, mafioso and all this stuff. You don't need reputational risk, the most nebulous term. Right. And to be honest, what Trump did on January 6th is not illegal.
Of course not.
It's not even close to illegal.
And you're right. He said go in peace. Anyway, we're going to litigate Hillary-gate and Obama-gate over time because that's part of this. I know. Dan Clifton, I got to pick your brain. I talked at some length earlier in the show with Laura Ingraham and Senator Moen. The reciprocal trade thing has come and gone. As far as I know, Dan, I'll check with you. You're the smart guy. The world has not come to an end. We're not having 20% inflation, and we're not having a 20% drop in GDP. I mean, really,
right.
You're saying that, what'd you say, this is only 13, 14% effective tariff rate. It's not even as high as the experts even thought.
Well, this is a big deal. I mean, the consensus on Wall Street right now is that this is a 19% effective tax rate. That means that tariffs are like $800 billion this year. We're going to wind up collecting $300 billion. And I think what that's doing is it's misinforming their economic forecast. So the consensus is going to be really wrong on this. The tariffs are going to be lower than expected. But most importantly is that one big, beautiful bill sterilizes most of the negative impact of the tariff. And if you see what's happened last night with the semiconductors, Trump's saying if you build a factory here, you're not going to face the semiconductor tariffs. And one big beautiful bill allows for 100% expensing of factory purchases.
I know.
So you're seeing the integration. Now you got Fed rate cuts coming in September. And I think forward-looking, the economy is going to accelerate from here. But Larry, I just want to be clear. The economy is slowing. Jobs are slowing.
At the
economy
moment.
is slowing.
No, I've said
but we're
so.
on a much better trajectory for the second half.
No, the private jobs are on a stall speed, which reminds me, Charlie Gasparino, do you know Steve Myron?
A little bit.
He's a frequent guest on this show.
I'm not a friend of his.
Before he was in there.
A friend of yours.
They're writing
a smart guy.
A very smart guy. What do you think he's going to do as a Fed member for the next 4 months?
I don't know, but he's going to be Fed chair, I think.
He's going to be vote. No,
you don't think so?
Fed chair, no.
You don't think? I mean,
he can be. His term could be extended. I mean, he could be renominated. No,
because the other choices.
I don't want to play the name game, but I don't think Trump's going to make that announcement until way into the.
Well, I think you're right, but I think the guy has a shot.
He's a smart guy.
He's a really smart guy.
Smart guy.
He's academically brilliant. He's Harvard, PhD.
Marty Keynesian graduate. Marty Feldstein graduate student.
And he checks a lot of the boxes, and he checks the Trump boxes, particularly on trade. And I think that helps. Did you ever read his paper on trade?
Yes, I did. The one you wrote for the Wall Street.
Oh, he also wrote a paper that I read. It shows you what a geek I am.
I got to jump out.
By the way, what was it? The Forever Bond. He's for the Forever Bond.
Dan Clifton, he's going to be a strong vote for lower rates, right? Myron. So you'll have three guys right there. I mean, I don't think Jay Powell is having a good day today. That's what I think. Go ahead, Dan.
Look, the walls are coming in on Jay Powell.
Yes.
We're going to cut rates in September. We'll get at least 2, if not 3 this year. And again, as I mentioned on the show earlier this week, it's not just the Trump friends on the Fed board. It's Mary Daly at the San Francisco, right? It's that people are realizing that we need lower rates. We're way above the neutral rate. And what this decision does is it gives the Trump team more time to find out who's going to be Fed chairman and buys them time. And I think it was.
I don't think they're going to make that decision until we get
well
into the
bet?
winter.
It's Dan.
Well into the
Dan's
winter.
got a clear.
No bets on the show. Charlie Gasparino, Dan Clifton, two of the best